That sounds good.
HK message.
HK.
Yeah.
Hideo Kojima.
Hideo Kojima. All right, ready? This is the Kojima Productions Report, session number 70, coming to you, recorded from Tokyo Midtown in downtown Tokyo in Roppongi. It's myself, Ryan Payton, with
Kenichiro Imaizumi.
Kenichiro Imaizumi, executive producer.
No, I'm not.
Executive producer of all titles coming out of Konami.
Senior.
Senior producer.
Yeah.
Yeah, senior producer.
Whatever, because we don't care, senior.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But you're one of the producers on Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yes.
The biggest project that we've ever put together in the studio. Mm-hmm. And we're in the midst of a media blackout. And the only thing that gets out of this and is kind of skirting this media blackout is this radio program. Every week we put it out, get the news out to the listeners. Because outside of that, we're not doing any magazine interviews, new screenshots, new trailers.
Right.
Mr. Kojima's like in a bunker in an unknown location, testing the game every day.
Right. The team has to focus on, making a great game. So
Yes.
The thing is, the whole team is so busy because we're in the crunch time.
Right.
So we don't have a time to give them new pictures and new graphics and stuff. So we don't have a time.
Yeah, we often get, up until this point, we often got requests from KDU, from Konami America, Konami Europe, and Konami Japan saying, okay, we need to keep the momentum going. We need screenshots here, or we need a new trailer here, or we need some more information about the new locations and things like that. But rather than doing that kind of slow build up to launch, it's been more of like a kind of a wave form, or even stranger than that. I mean, we have at the game shows we have huge showings, new trailer, and then it's quiet, and then another game show. But from now until launch, there's no big game show really.
Right.
So we're just going to be in this kind of lockdown phase, and then once we get closer to launch, we'll start releasing more screenshots and fun stuff. But
most of the game, video game production, they finished background CGI finish, and they don't touch. Right. But we are still touching. Tweaking.
Right.
And we are still brush up the old graphics. So the character face. We show so many times in a Tokyo Game Show, or these game convention stuff, but maybe some people notice, some characters' faces changing slightly.
Some people do. They write in and they say, "Hey, did you guys change this model?" And of course, yeah,
we change it. We are trying to brush up, the old character face and body and motion and old graphics.
Now I can't remember how many months before you guys mastered MGS3. I can't remember how many months before you came into the program. To the project. It was you didn't do MGS3 from the start, I know, but you came in midway through the production.
Right.
Did you come in before or after they changed the snake face model? Because that was a last minute thing I heard. Yeah.
Well, I think that when I joined the Metal Gear Solid 3 team, and then the snake face was pretty close to the final, but they're still making one piece of hair and hair.
Right. Well, it's funny because if you look back at old trailers, he's totally different. He looks totally different.
Yeah. So
so the final model turned out great. So yeah, we'll be doing the same thing with MGS4, right?
Right.
Tweaking and tweaking to the very end. So a lot of the screenshots we put out up until this point, a lot of the gameplay footage. Once MGS4 does come back, it's gonna be fun to look back at those and say, oh, this is how things have changed and progressed over time. So in that sense, it's kind of fun. So how about yourself, Ken? Before I go into my list of things I was going to talk about, what have you been up to the past week? I mean, we had a great response from last week's show. It was
really?
You, and Aki, and we were kind of hamming it up for 50 minutes, talking about all sorts of fun stuff, and we got a great response for it. Unfortunately, Aki couldn't be here today. He's in Geneva.
Right. Yeah, he went to Geneva for fun, right?
Right, for just to hang out with Touchy.
Yeah.
So, but I mean,
he's a lucky guy.
He is, and we're stuck here just working. But how about yourself? I mean, what have you been doing in the past week?
Well, I've been working with some secret stuff. top secret stuff.
Well,
it's a big surprise, for the people, I think.
Right, that one I know you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. That is a surprise. But you've been working on stuff that hasn't been so secret, like the Kubrick.
Oh,
things, right?
the Kubrick stuff. Yeah, it's we are going to ship the 3 kinds of figure doll figurine. One is a Kubrick. In Japan, we have shipped Kubrick 5 kinds of Kubrick, and Snake, Raiden, Ninja, and this what was it? 5 kinds. Anyway, so
yeah, they're like the 20th anniversary themed, right? So you go back into MGS1,
right? 1, no 2, 3, and 4.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's MGS3 Snake, Big Boss Snake, right? Like a naked snake.
So we are planning to sell the Kubrick in the U.S. and the European market too. So, and we are going to let you guys know, the detail, like when.
Right, where you can find it.
Yeah.
What's the price?
Right.
All that good stuff.
Right.
Because we're also launching the 6-inch figures.
7-inch?
Are they
6-inch? I don't know.
I think they're 6 inches, and then there's also the 12-inch.
12-inch,
the big daddy.
Big Snake and Raiden.
Right. But yeah, lots of good stuff coming out. And we'll in a future program we'll update you on the release and the price for the European and North American markets. So moving forward, as for me, what I've been doing, I've been getting hounded by Mr. Matsuhana to name the MGO maps, because we're continually working on new maps and getting ready for launch and coming up with non-Japanese sounding names. Sometimes there's a little bit of a fun appeal to having kind of funky Japanese style English names, but we've decided that we're not only going to have a specific format for each of the namings, but that they all make sense grammatically wise. So that's been kind of a challenge because we have some parameters that we have to fit in with. So I've been working on that. I've been playing those maps. They're a lot of fun. I've been playing with the team. Because a lot of team, they kind of bounce back and forth between MGS4 and MGO. MGO tries to borrow as many people as they can to help finish up that title, and vice versa for MGS4. So it's kind of fun to see a lot of people just playing games, and they're testing out the headsets, and it sounds like they're talking to themselves when they're at their desk. So
that's cool. Yeah,
it's good.
So far, so good.
Yeah, I'm excited for that project because I've never been really good at just straight up deathmatch. Or maybe I'm just not really interested in it. I don't really feel like investing 20 hours into getting really good at straight up deathmatch, just racking up the kill count and just killing as many people as possible.
That's because you're not a gamer.
What are you talking about? You know I'm a hardcore gamer.
No, I don't think so.
You know I'm hardcore. But I used to be a hardcore Quake player.
You used to, right?
I mean, Quake 3, Unreal Tournament. I was doing the kill counts. SOCOM. I was totally into team deathmatch. But now that I'm not a hardcore gamer,
okay.
But I prefer something else, like a new twist to multiplayer. And so for MGO, I'm really excited about the skill system, how you can choose your own skills, up to 3 different skills, and kind of define your own strategy. And so you have to put together a team that has a very well-rounded team. So, and then the Sons of the Patriot system. Yeah, we've talked about MGO in the past, but for a player like me who's looking for something that kind of goes beyond what Call of Duty or Halo does, like this is it's a good fit for a guy like me. So Ken, I'm looking at the comment section. Last week we had a really great show, and there's tons of comments on the iRebel page, and a lot of
that's a very rare case.
Oh, there's usually some pretty good comments.
Well, because your page is very, very deep. From you have to dig, page by page to reach your page.
Yeah, I mean it's not very convenient, especially being in yes, I know what you mean. Especially in being in Japanese, it's kind of hard to navigate. But users have been kind enough to follow this guide on how to register an account in Japanese, and so they've been able to comment on certain things. And one comment that came in was from a listener who asked, how did this radio program come to be used for public relations, and how successful has it been? And I commented to this question on the blog site, but I also thought I'd address it on the program that, it's almost 2 years ago when we started doing this program.
Really? Already?
Yeah, and it really was never for public relations or for PR, for promotion. It was more like just like an outreach, and people can argue that's what PR is, but we don't really have a calendar. Like, this is when we're going to talk about this, and this is when we're going to talk about this, and this is how we're going to get people excited for this.
Well,
It's like,
because we are always like last minute,
yeah, I mean, we just a couple minutes before the show, we say, hey, well, what can we talk about, and what topics should we avoid? And,
yeah, and last week was pretty funny because we talk about those mailbox thing, and then it seems like show is finishing,
right?
But I really wanted to talk about the game, video game stuff,
right,
for the Christmas season,
right,
because there are so many cool games,
Well, and that's the thing is, for the first year, I would always go back and forth with Mr. Kojima because he wanted me to set to make a list of everything we're going to be talking about on the show beforehand, and then he could approve of it.
Still,
and still,
he still wanted to do that.
He still wants that, but I kept arguing. Look, I would like to do that, but you never know what's going to pop up in a conversation, and it's really hard to get prior approval before you do a radio program.
But still, we are talking about like what's going on in a Japanese show, right? So we Kubrick was shipped in Japan, and they did talk about the Kubrick,
right, or the MPO Plus tournament that's going to be on Saturday.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Things like that, we try to line them up, but it's always been a kind of a struggle for us to figure out what we can talk about, what we can't talk about. But really, it's not really for public relations. It's more for fun. It's more of an outreach to listeners,
right?
And I kind of argued that, well, there's kind of two styles. Well, there's a lot of different styles, but I think there's kind of two extremes. There's a studio like ours where we've been really opening up in the past 2 years, like really connecting with listeners and with users, with the blog and with the radio and it shows and then there's the other extreme. There's the rock star that really don't communicate with the community. They don't. I'm sure they check message boards and get user feedback that way, but they don't really they don't try to connect with them and try to build their community that way. So, and there's good points about each one, because with Rockstar, you never know what they're going to do, and like they'll surprise you. Okay, next week we have a new trailer. Here you go, and that's it. And there's so much buzz for it, and it's just like this huge explosion on the internet, right? So I think and that's how our studio used to be up until you joined the studio. It was very it was kind of surrounded in secrecy. The studio, right? I mean, there really wasn't a lot of outreach to users.
That's right, because in the time, we don't have this kind of like a podcast,
right,
system,
or like a newsletters,
like a newsletter or blog, or
I mean, we did do the dog tags, which was really cool, but so I think this is kind of a new avenue for us. We're still trying it out. That's fun. Yeah,
that's just really fun. Basically, we just wanted to like share what's going on,
right,
in this production, because this production is pretty big, and we have been making this game for a long time, and we know a lot of people waiting for this game. Sorry for sorry for push back the the date, but we wanted to make the great game, and that's why we staying like all day long and tweaking the game.
Right.
So I just wanted to share like what's going on.
Yeah, try to keep them
maybe
updated.
Just tiny bit news. I mean, really really small news, like Ryan
is dating his students or something like that.
Yeah, kind of stuff. It's feeling,
Right. Well, and we could talk about Japan too, and we get a lot of questions. Like I'm actually going to go into the mailbox right now, but and I was going to mention that we got so many great emails over the past week.
Really?
And I just want to thank everybody for taking the time to write in these great questions. I can't address them all, but especially a lot of questions about Japan, which I'm not going to address a lot in this show. But man, I mean, we could do a whole show, like have a weekly show about working in Japan. Like studying Japanese.
Passion.
Like people really want to know, like more and more and more about how do you study Japanese? How do you work in the Japanese game industry? How do you work in the American game industry? All these kind of questions.
Well, the learning foreign language is really tough.
It is.
As always, I mean, not just Japanese. For us, for Japanese people, it's really hard to learn English because we normally study, from the junior high and high school.
Or even elementary, there's some English.
Yeah. So minimum, 9 years or something? Yeah. But, most of the people cannot speak any English at all.
What's tragic, and I don't blame them, and I feel bad for these people, is that when they come out of college with the English degree and they can't speak English, that always, it pains me. You meet some Japanese people and they say, they're very embarrassed about it. Like, yes, I majored in English, and they still can't speak it. They could read legal documents. They could read English, read legal documents, like one of our secretaries.
They're very, they're very smart, but they're just book smart people,
right. It's sad because, if she had the opportunity to speak, and study her conversational skills, it would have been awesome. But
the best way is just dating or going out with
like you did when you moved to America.
Yes, but my first girlfriend was a French girl.
So were you learning French?
No, not at all.
So, but she spoke English too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So did your English level up when you guys started dating?
Well, some people told me you sounds like French guy or something.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So you had a French American or English
accent.
That's funny.
Funny, right? Yeah. Well, anyway, so going out with the girl or guy from that country,
right?
And that's faster way.
Yeah, it is. So moving on, Ken, to a question from Julian from Canada. He writes, really enjoy every week of the program, especially last week with Ken and Aki. And he says it feels like you've got the Three Stooges thing going on the program. I don't know if that's a compliment or is that if that's an insult, but I'll take it as a compliment. Because I think last week was a really good show.
Okay.
But his question is, what is the best time to vacation in Japan? And don't worry, we're going to get to the MGS stuff in just a minute. But I was going to ask you, Ken. I believe that October is you're going to miss the cherry blossoms. That's in the spring. But I think October is a great month to visit. Mm-hmm. Would you disagree?
Well, the best time is spring for me.
Okay.
But, fall is really good too.
Yeah, summer, winter, you want to avoid at all costs, especially summer.
Summer is really hot.
Even if you're thinking about coming, you're like, okay, obviously you're a game fan. I'm going to come in September, in the fall, to Tokyo Game Show. It's going to be nice and cool.
Right.
No.
Not anymore.
Late September is scorching hot, very humid.
Right.
Not a good time to come to Japan.
Well, the summertime has been changed a lot because I think the summer in Japan was more mild a long time ago, but it's getting hotter and hotter and weird weather.
Right.
Sometimes very cold, sometimes really hot.
Yes, this is true. But in
just like in Minneapolis, it's really hot in the summer.
Yeah, that's something I didn't know about. I just always have this image of it being really cold.
No, the summertime is hell.
Right.
Yeah.
My image of Minnesota really is cold and Prince. That's my image of Minnesota.
Yeah. Well,
Prince in high heels outside of a club.
Okay, that's true. He is very short. Yeah, but he was a nice guy.
Yeah.
He was very nice to me.
That's good.
I met him once. Well, very beautiful place, very cold during the winter, but very nice place to visit.
So my parents came to Japan 2 months ago in October. It was perfect weather. It was a little cool, but much better than coming in summer and winter. So moving on to Josh from South America, he writes, I saw a gameplay trailer in which Otacon contacts Snake without stopping the game and then talks to him during the gameplay action. Will Otacon's dialogue change depending on what Snake does? What he's referring to is our new real-time codec system. And so when we were recording the codec with Otacon, we had two different variations. We would tell Christopher Randolph, the voice actor, whether or not this is a normal codec with the normal codec screen, or if it's going to be real time, where it's going to be played while the player's, controlling Snake, so they can get these messages in their ear that, no, Snake, you're going the wrong way, or no, you can't take out the striker with a grenade, or so. And yeah, a lot of it depends on what Snake or the player is doing at the time. So it's pretty dynamic, but he's not going to stop himself in mid-sentence and say, oh, wait, Snake, what are you doing? And then move on to another. It's not that dynamic, but we do have recorded tons and tons of messages for people who want to hear it. And we're thinking about ways of allowing it so the hardcore players can turn that off because they don't need the hints or they don't want to hear Otacon. as they're playing throughout the whole game. So
Yeah, well, for the people who love his voice,
right. Well, he's a great character, and a lot of times it's funny. He gets so frustrated with Snake sometimes. He's like, "Dang it, I told you, stop killing people," and things like that's pretty funny. We recorded some good dialogue. So I can't wait to get to this next question. So Josh, thank you for the email.
Josh, thank you.
Moving on to Roz from Northern Ireland. My name is Roz, and I've been playing the Metal Gear since I got the demo from OPM, and it's been my favorite thing since. There's not a day that goes by where I don't think about the Metal Gear series. I'm completely obsessed, so much so that I've recorded all the cutscenes and codec conversations from MGS1 onto VHS and used the video as my go-to sleep routine. So for 30 minutes every night before I go to sleep, I set the sleep timer on my TV, and I'm nodding off to the story of Metal Gear Solid. This guy is the most hardcore Metal Gear fan I think I've ever encountered.
Wow.
So every night before he goes to bed, he plays this tape of MGS1. That's incredible.
Incredible. Wow.
I should probably do that because, working on the script for MGS4, we reference so much stuff from MGS1 or MG1, MG2, MGS3, MGS2.
You should visit him.
I know. I ask him a question. Now, what happened here? Because we have to reference that stuff all the time.
Right.
And play through these old games so many times. But maybe I should incorporate this into my nightly routine. But so I thought what would be kind of fun is, thanks to Roz, I have this inspiration that we should have a section every week or maybe once a month where I'm going to read off some of the most hardcore stories. So for all the listeners, write in to the mailbox. The link is there on the iRebel site. Write in your hardcore story, how much of an MGS fan are you? Because this stuff, Roz's email totally surprised me. I thought it was pretty interesting and pretty cool. So let's see if you guys can beat out Roz. So what I wanted to ask you was what games have you been playing, Ken? But I know you're too busy to play, so I'm going to change it. What games do you wish you were playing right now?
Right now?
Yeah.
Well, the first of all, No More Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Just because the Suda51 sent me one copy of the game. Did you get?
Yeah, I finally got it.
Oh, okay,
thank you, Suda-san.
Thank you, Suda51. And but the problem is I have to buy Wii.
Right.
Because I don't have Wii.
I need to get a Japanese Wii too to play it, and I've been waiting for a different color.
Oh, I was thinking that you are going to V.
Oh yeah,
I'm going to buy
the V. For those of you have to do a Google search or go on YouTube and type in VII if you don't know about this Chinese knockoff of the Wii. It's freaking hilarious, especially the commercial.
Yeah.
Where they interview this guy, the creator's like, I've had this idea for many years and finally I can make it. And it's like, what a freaking joke. I love the Chinese people, especially living in Osaka, which is a really cool experience because it was me and two other Americans and then 200 Asian students that came up from all over Asia, mostly Koreans, Taiwanese, and Chinese were all assembled in this Japanese language school in Osaka. But it was really cool. It was a really weird experience, this whole mix of all these students who wanted to study Japanese. And there was one. I want to talk about the fun times that we had, but one story that always sticks out for me is that me and two Taiwanese guys, we were walking to KFC in Osaka, so one of the branches there, and this old Japanese dude starts yelling at my new Taiwanese buddies. He's yelling at them about obviously about the war where Japan invaded Taiwan and they made them learn Japanese, and he's going off on these guys, and he's confused whether they're Chinese or if they're from Taiwan. But I mean, he was just talking about war and all this kind of stuff.
Who?
And this this old Japanese dude.
Oh.
And he's just going on about this this stupid racist garbage that's these kids weren't even born at that time. And so my Taiwanese buddies wants to fight this guy. And I'm holding him back. I'm like, dude, tuck it, hold back, buddy. We don't have to fight this old man. It's all good. And so I'm pulling this guy back, and then the old man turns his attention to me, right? And then he says to this Taiwanese guy, he says, you guys are lower than dogs, but this American guy, he's cool, and he hugs me.
Really?
And I'm like, dude, you don't remember 1940s Hiroshima, Nagasaki?
Oh shit!
And he's like, oh, it's okay.
It's
okay.
It's not okay.
I'm like, what the hell? And so, but thankfully at the very, I guess there was a happy ending. Like everybody shook hands, and everything was cool. But I mean, that kind of stuff really irritated me, and that was but it was a really interesting experience getting different people's perspectives, especially at that school, and like the kind of racism that Asian people experience in Japan, and it's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah. Well, some Japanese people is really, I mean, they don't have mind. I mean, good heart.
Yeah, I mean, they're confused, or I mean, I don't know, they're scared of like the outside influences, this xenophobia feeling. I think that's kind of retained itself for literally centuries in this country. And I noticed coming back from abroad 2 weeks ago, this was just instigated in the Japanese immigration system, where now when I come through immigration at the airport, I got to get my photo taken and my fingerprints. So I wasn't really happy about doing that because I'm a resident. I pay taxes, that kind of stuff. But it's getting a lot more strict, more like the American immigration system.
I still do that though. I still do that. Like if I go to United States and then
you have to do it.
Always take pictures and fingerprints too.
Right.
But for me, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, I try not to let it bother me because there's nothing I can do. I mean, there's some things you can fight, but there's some things you can't. And I mean, you can voice your disapproval of it over a podcast that are about Metal Gear, but it's really probably not going to do anything. But unlike my best friend who lives in Japan, he just flew back from LA. He experienced that for the first time, getting his picture taken and his fingerprints at Narita, and he said, "I don't want to do this." He says, "I pay taxes. I'm a resident. I'm not going to do this." And he said, and then the Japanese official says, "Do you refuse?" He says, "I didn't say that. I just don't. I don't want to do it. Why do you have to do this?" He's like, "Do you refuse?" And he says, "What if I refuse?" He says, "We'll take you to the next room over and we'll arrest you." And so he's like, well, the guy's waiting for his day to get interesting. He's waiting for my buddy to say, "I refuse." But my friend, thankfully, was smarter than that. He finally gave in and did it. Because really, there's no choice unless you sneak in on a boat or something.
True. But, for me, I'm sorry, I really don't care.
Yeah. So it's all the Patriots. The Lalilulelo.
Maybe they did it. Yeah, they're doing it. They're trying to control the whole world.
So moving on to, I think the last question I'll address on the show today is from Suhail from the United States.
Suhail?
Yeah.
Hi, Sue.
Hey, Sue. And he's got a good question. Hey, Ryan, recently you were quoted saying you need 1 million copies of MGS4 sold on day one of its release. So how do you intend to reach this goal? That's the question from the listener, Ken.
So, wait. Ryan, did you really say that?
I know you asked me that like two weeks ago when this Reuters news story came up. You're reading, you're like, wait, you looked over at me. Right? Did you say we have to sell 1 million copies worldwide on day one? And because our policy, right, is not to talk about sales numbers in interviews.
Well, because we are not salespeople,
right?
Or sales or marketing people. We are just trying to make a great game, good game for the people.
Right.
So that's my goal. And
right.
Your goal too. So
yeah, and obviously we have forecasts and numbers we want to hit, but really it's not the Reuters or this article is really not the forum for it. And on top of all that, that number is not even right. That we have to sell 1 million copies worldwide for MGS4 on day one. So I'm not saying that Kemp Powers, the writer of the story, that he misinformed his readers or anything like that. I'm still checking with him to see exactly what I said. It might have been like a roundabout thing, like, I mean, but you guys have to sell like 1 million copies like really quick or something like that. I'll be like, yeah, something like that. I mean, it might have been that kind of form where he pulled that quote. But anyway, so I don't even know why this became such a huge issue, but it did. This Reuters story blew up. But all the other quotes that has actually quotation marks around it, those are the accurate quotes, which I actually said. And I think they're quite witty and funny.
Anyway, so we didn't. I mean, he didn't talk about these like a number of things. So.
Right. So, but it's funny because when Kemp interviewed me at E4All in LA, he came to interview knowing exactly what he wanted to write about, and it wasn't really about MGS4 as a game. He wanted to talk about exclusives. He wanted to talk about the battle between Microsoft and Sony, and he wanted to talk about how is Sony not moving as many units as they should?
Why do people love this kind of topic? Because we last time we went to you're not there, but last time we went to Leipzig, and some press people.
Or at the games convention in Germany,
me,
right?
Yeah, the same question, like do you have a plan for the 360?
Yeah, I can understand that question. Yeah.
Then I said, my question, then I told them, like, we are making a PlayStation 3 so far.
Yeah.
And then we're not making 360.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, I can understand why people ask that question a lot. But when Kemp went into this interview, he wanted to talk about, like, what do you think about Microsoft winning or Sony winning? And it's all about winning and losing. And my first thing I said to him, I said, look, I don't care about the console war. Like, I want all consoles to sell more. And in fact, I think everybody's losing because we should be selling millions of units every month. Not in the hundreds of thousands, but in the millions. We should be getting all of Europe and all of America and especially Japan on this next generation bandwagon. And in that sense, I think we're all losing. Like I don't really care if Sony's winning. It sells more hardware. It doesn't really matter. And that's what a lot of gamers, I think, kind of get clouded up in this frenzy of supporting your favorite team almost in a way. And so I just hope that our industry kind of grows up from this because it's not healthy. Like, we're in the Civil War when we should really be fighting against people who are watching boring TV and get them to play games, or watching bad movies and get them to play really cool entertainment that are these games that we've been creating, right?
Right.
So that's my take on it, Ken. That's my closing thought for today.
Okay.
All right, Ken. Okay. Well, if I don't see you, have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, see you next year, maybe.
Happy New Year. Happy 2008.
January 14th is my birthday.
Oh, we have to have a special program for that.
Oh, really?
So send in your birthday wishes to Ken. January 14th. Okay. How old are you going to be, Ken?
41.
Nice.
41.
You're just getting started.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You haven't hit the halfway part.
Okay. Oh, well.
All right, thanks, Ken.
Okay, well, thank you very much.